Progress.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Sir, it's a pleasure to welcome you. It's not only a pleasure, it's an encouragement to see you with us. Former Chief Justice of India, Kg Balakrishnan, Chief Justice of India, Kg Balakrishnan ji, former Chairman, NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, sir, it's a pleasure. Today we'll be speaking about family litigations. India has had a huge, social structure kind of upheaval. It's like upside down over the last 20 years, ever since the social media and internet, telephone has taken its, space in this society. So things, the way people think has completely changed. Family systems values, which we were proud of, which we grew up with, has really, changed. As you yourself were telling us in one of the shows, that this has really become a very different world now. The entire society has undergone a complete makeover, and westernization is, very much in vogue in India. Indian traditional values, culture and systems, they have all gone for a major reform, sir. And we understand that with the passage of time, these things will, really impact the society in a very, very strong way. Litigations were there earlier also. It is not that they were not there earlier. Human beings and, issues in families. The first thing is whether the family system still stands in this country now. Right from the HUF issues to family systems, evolution of the family system, to the current, situations. We've been through huge things. There have been torture killings, there have been, honor killings, dowry, divorce issues, property related issues, whatnot. Family is society, and Indian society is known to be endorsing the family value system. And today we work in a very different space compared to the Western countries. Even now, though we are slowly moving and inching towards the Western models of, live in, stay in, live out, go out, and all that. So according to you, sir, what is the current situation, especially when we compare it with what happened in the last 65, 70, 75 years? What all have you seen as a part of the jury and the part of the judicial system of this country? How family litigation systems have evolved, and going forward, how do you think the judiciary should tackle the family litigation issues, considering the huge changes in the social structures and social way of thinking? Over to you, Justice Kg Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India.
Mr. Amit Goenka and distinguished participants and dear friends. Very important and relevant subject has been chosen for today's discussion. The family disputes relate, as Mr. Amit has pointed out, various types of litigation: matrimonial disputes, property disputes, and a host of other reasons for disputes in the family. How to tackle these problems? And the courts are flooded with such litigation. Family courts are there. There are special courts are there. There are for dealing with these all, just like the specialized agencies, specialized judges. Family court judges are Indian welfare, very is a welfare legislation intended to create a situation where we shall join the families which are departed on small silly reasons. And many a times the victims are the children. The family, husband and wife, quarrel for silly things. the children are the victims. Their life is virtually lost. Their education, their all this is very, very sad situation. So how to tackle this, how to deal with this? All these, of course, we have got different laws. The Hindus have got special laws, Christians have special laws, special marriage act is there, the Muslims have special laws. There are reasons, the grounds for divorce are various reasons, and they are stated in various special legislation. The personal laws, these personal laws differ slightly, not on very vast, but all these personal laws are there. In all these matters, it should be how to solve these major problems. There was a time when there were only few litigations regarding matrimonial disputes. That too, they settled by elders in the society, or very rarely they go to court. But now the courts are flooded with litigation, and there are also not the matrimonial. Then 498A is there. Then the death, a suspicious death of the wife and husband is caught, and as everyone knows, this Me Too and all those new varieties of cases, all these are allegations are there. How to solve this problem is a social problem, not a judicial matter, but every judge should be very imaginative, and he should endeavor to amicably settle the family disputes whenever it comes to the court. One major problem which I find, when somebody has got a silly reasons to go to court, he approaches the lawyer. The lawyer also should endeavor to settle it rather than encourage the parties to resort further form of litigation. Sometimes they go to the court just for consultation. Then what is to be done? Then the lawyer advise, you have to do this, you have to find out the grounds. If you want grounds, you have to find out you have to find out the grounds, and the grounds are, these are various things. You have to cook up stories for this. All these very professionally, unethically wrong advices are sometimes given by some people. So that is also one side of the, we cannot en masse say that lawyers are like that. But there are people like advise wrongly. But what we have to see that when we cannot control the lawyers community in doing so. But as a court, when the matter comes to the court should endeavor first to settle the matter amicably and call the parties, endeavor. Always in these matrimonial matters, in the High Court also, we sometimes they call some both the parties. They then ask a senior lady lawyer or a very senior lawyer to discuss with them, and what are the problems, and you find some solution. If it is they solve it. Sometimes that is why this counseling we call counseling. But the counseling also sometimes in the family court there should be counseling. There should be the proper care for the children. All these earlier there was a time the family courts are functioning well. In Kerala, the family courts are functioning very well, and those who were united at the instance of the family court, they used to be an annual day for all these the united couples to come again. Married couples, they parted on various reasons, and at the instance of the family court united, and they have a celebration in a once an annual one day. I had good fortune to attend one function in such function where at the instance of the court, the family united again and worked for the children. But sometimes now the problems are various allegations. You must have seen that various decisions which are coming up in when the laws are also widely changed. 354A has been amended 354A, B, C, D. Earlier, the only 354 alone was there. Now they are stocking all these new cases out. This because of the in some instance of throwing acid on women, the 326 also has been amended, and various law amendment also, women related offences, 326, 354 A, B, C, D, and this 376 definition has been completely changed, and 376 definition change, and various offences under 376. If that offence is reported to the police and the police has to register the case, and that is the police has no option but to register the case. And if there is any fault in the investigation also, there is police people are bound to make good they are answerable. If it is an offence, if it is police is not registering any case under these various related offences. There is also the CRPC also has been amended that they are 160, and if a woman goes to the police station or to the court, then their statement is to be taken under 164, that before the magistrate their statement should be taken, and if their statement also should be videographed in certain circumstances. All these various changes have been made, but these are all the changes in the law also because of the various the legislature has, the parliament has noticed the difference in the behavior pattern of the human being but we must also say, when the family disputes, sometimes now everybody knows everyone, the most important person who one loves in this world is his mother. And the mother is depository of all love, affection, everything. But we come across how badly so many people treat the mother. They don't look after the parents. They don't care. They suppose the children are well off, but they don't care. Of course, the 125 proceedings are there. They are also dealt with by the family courts, the maintenance proceedings. That is also very, very sad situation. Despite the children having wealthy and they don't care for the parents. And sometimes the parents are very wealthy, and if they don't give the property to the children, they will even attack the parents, and they are on many instances the parents are met with death because they are not distributing the property to the children. These are all the family disputes. It is a vast subject. Various types of litigation, and even the grounds of divorce also, the various types of divorce, the grounds are alleged. But in all these matters, we have to, the important thing we have to remember that these are all matters which can be settled, and we should endeavor to settle all these matters to the best of, because we should, when there are children and the husband and wife on silly reasons, they depart each other, then the children are at the merciful point. They don't get the life of affection, and they, because of the family surroundings, many criminals are created. The future of the country also is in peril, because the children have got a very bad situation in their family. They think of not in the right way, but in bad way, and they train as criminals. This is also a fact. We have got various enactments. Juvenile Justice Act is there. We have got various provisions amended. Amendment is made in 376. All these amendments have been made. We have also made amendments to the, if a victim of any sexual offense is there, their identity shall not be revealed by either by the press or the public, and we shall not do anything to reveal the identity. There are so many things, and the personal laws, many personal laws, some of the personal laws are slightly different from the other personal laws. The grounds for divorce in Hindu law is different from the Christian law. Some Special Marriage Act also grounds for divorce. Some of the grounds have also been amended in the various personal laws. These are all the court is now the most of the high courts are trying to post lady judges as in the family court. Delhi also they try to make lady, but how do we get so much of lady judges? Only the women judges are very few in number. They will they feel that they will ensure the help the people, they help the parties to settle it. But the settlement is, I feel that the settlement is the best way for this family. If it is any litigation, ultimately the divorce is allowed, then the question of maintenance is sometimes they have to give the property, whatever the property received from the wife is to be retained. So many things are to be done by the parties. So in that way, there is a very much problem for the one. The judge must be imaginative, judge must be talented, judge must understand the problems of the society and must do the best contribution. And I feel that everything depends on the judge's imagination in dealing with the matrimonial disputes. If the judge is not imaginative, or judge doesn't understand the dispute, and where because when you come to the court, whatever you say may not be fully truthful, because the other side may be giving other side of it. So as a family dispute is a very important branch of litigation in this in Indian courts, and due to this pandemic situation, many of them. Then the harassment, that is also husband's harassment, wife's harassment, then the consequent the problems. These are also on increase. So we cannot suggest any solution for this. What solution we can suggest in this? The only thing is that the society, because of this pandemic situation, the people, I feel that the depression, at least depression has increased, risen in as regards some people. So because the communication is not there. The people are not meeting. One person is not meeting the other person because of the COVID situation. So the lack of communication between the people. We don't meet. Though we are very close friends for years, for 1 or 2 years, we are not met at all. The friends. When that social string is broken for the since because of the pandemic. This pandemic situation also has worsened the family disputes. So yeah, we have to find out solution for this. We have to and the judges, I feel they should be properly trained. They should be. We can even think of having a training institute, counseling institute. Even the judges judicial training center in Bhopal or in various now the various Chandigarh, there is Lucknow, there is for all Kerala, there is all judicial training courses institutes are there. In that there should be we can even start a separate the counseling centers for so that the judges should be specially trained, and the specially trained judges should be posted how to deal with this problem. It is everything is now technical. So not only the knowledge of law, knowledge of the society, knowledge of the human mind, knowledge of how to deal with these problems, they are all very, very important thing. And a newly appointed judge may not understand the nitty-gritty of all these social problems. So the proper training also could be given. And the present in all the high courts, there are, to my knowledge, there are the training centers are there. The training centers should appoint counseling, and even there may be volunteers for giving counseling, and psychiatry, the clinical psychologist who could give the important advice to them, how to deal with them, how these. Then if the children are the plight of the children, if there are a large number of there should be in the family court concept is like that. There should be whenever they come to the family court, the children's there should be all playgrounds and all this should be there in the family court surroundings. But unfortunately, in many states, such a situation is not there. That is also that the important very welfare-oriented programs are envisaged under the Family Courts Act, but it is not fully implemented. That is also to be taken care of. So I am very happy that a discussion. I would like to hear participants also. What are their reactions to these? What are they? Common men may not know how serious the problems which are being faced by the courts in dealing with the family problems. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, I have so many questions in my mind, but probably time for a few of them today.
Yes.
This is not a 20 minutes kind of a 25 minutes kind of a interaction which will be of much use, but at least we can have it as a curtain raiser for this important social issue, national issue. Family issues are national issues. Sir, what is the structure like? How is it different? Family courts vis-a-vis the high courts, district courts, or Supreme Court?
Family courts are manned by district judges in all the states. Family courts are by the additional district judges. So their decisions, one can challenge before the High Court, and before the High Court also decision they can challenge it before the Supreme Court. In almost all the states, to my knowledge, the family courts are by decision. In Delhi also, district judges, I think they are all district judges.
What role does arbitration play? Can arbitration play some role in this family issues? I think arbitration is what you're suggesting in terms of settlements or the lawyers playing the arbitrator's role.
Arbitrators, the arbitrators have no role in the matter of these family disputes. Then even if some property disputes, very rarely that much of property, that is very rarely it comes to. The arbitration is not that. About counseling is important. In Bangalore, Karnataka state, the counseling was doing well. They are all, the family court matters are settled at the instance of the counseling centers are there. It was there. I don't know whether it is functioning well now. Earlier, there was a good counseling center. In all judicial academy, there should be proper counseling centers. So the judge may not have sufficient time to discuss with the. During our period, we asked a senior counsel lady lawyer, senior lady, please have a discussion with them and come to us. Sometimes very efficient senior lawyers, they settle the matter at the instance. They discuss them. But now the number is on increase. So these are all when very few cases were pending. So now the number is so much. That is the problem.
Property issues, do you think property kind of issues vis-a-vis issues with respect to women, divorces, 498A, sexual abuse in the family, incestuous issues, POSCO issues, women issues, dowry issues, all these various kinds of things, can they be handled by the same person sitting in the judge's position in the family court?
That is, judge is supposed to be conversant in all matters. All these are to be dealt with by the judges.
Is there any minimum age for a judge to be sitting in a family court as the chief judge?
That is why I said if district judges are appointed directly by the High Court, and they are also by promotion. Civil Judge Junior Division will get promoted as Civil Judge Senior Division. Then Civil Judge Senior Division will become the district judges. Addition district judges cadre, the higher judicial service. So if a Civil Judge Junior Division, in most of the states, it will take about 10-12 years to become an addition district judge. So all the district judges persons, those who are holding the post will be senior in the service. So that is the experience and seniority is all there. But it's the question of talent. The judge should be have the talent to settle the matter, understand the matter, and settle and make use of all possibilities to not to worsen the situation, dispute, but to amicably, because these are all family matters. So it is very, very, most of the time it is very sensitive. Maybe some small thing, but once it reaches the court, it gets worsened. And there are so many people to give wrong advice to them. That is also there. So they must, if they don't get the right advice, they are prone to go to wrong advice. That is also there.
Opponent lawyers have a habit of playing judges for their own clients.
But
opponent lawyers will always play judge for their own clients, and the judge of the family court, as you are rightly pointing out, sir, these are not hardened criminal issues generally. Though today the mindset of people is such that it's difficult to differentiate between cold-blooded criminals and normal people around the corner. You cannot differentiate. The society has become so all-pervasive with respect to the the value systems. And there is almost a similar kind of a mindset which percolates society, even if economically not, but at least mentally people are thinking the same way nowadays, because media, social media, electronic media, gossip, grapevine, this is what basically is driving the society. And everybody thinks the same way as long as they are made to think like that as a pack mentality. In those situations, the judge's imagination plays, as you rightly pointed out, sensitivity, imagination, understanding the both the sides, the situations
Yes.
of both the sides,
Yes.
the aspects of vicarious liabilities. Because most of these family issues, they are having this vicarious liability component inherently imbibed, at least on one side. Because generally, people who fall prey to such kind of issues, if the victim, if I talk about the victim, or if I talk about somebody, who is on the weak side in terms of economically and all, they generally get guided by people who are stronger in their surroundings. So this vicarious liability issue, the judge has to understand how important is this vicarious liability issue.
The vicarious liability principles is generally it is if a agent commits a mistake, the master is liable for that mistake. That is we call vicarious liability. If the state employees does something, the state is liable for the make good that loss. So that is it is generally it has arisen in the tortious liability, the vicarious liability. Criminal law doesn't have, it is no vicarious liability doesn't have much play in the criminal law, because criminal law is personal. We are bound to answer. We are answerable only for our own acts. So nobody else has got. We can't say. We can't hide under the carpet of somebody else's doings. So we have to be answerable. The problem is when the father and mother, the parents are quarreling each other, it is a breeding ground for the children to do crimes. So if they don't have a peaceful atmosphere, they turn criminals. That becomes a very strong. Whenever if you criminals, you closely interview them, then they have got a very bad family back. That is the peaceful family should be a great virtue for the society. That is, if that is not there, but nowadays the problems are multifarious, so we cannot think
Suppose,
of.
sir, in the case of, suppose if I talk about, say, in the case of anything like a divorce, the plaintiff, in that case, it could be a very innocent kind of a woman, and she might be completely led by vested interests in her family, in her parents' side, and that may be, or somebody from her side, which might be propelling her to talk or think irrationally and take wrong decisions with respect to her family problems when it comes to her husband. Then this really can blow up. It's like oil. It's like putting catalyst in the fire instead of trying to douse the fire. That is what people can have as vested interest in. These are very sensitive issues, and generally these plaintiffs are guided, and these plaintiffs are generally, they are not all equally educated. They are not all equally well aware or competent. They are, their thought process is guided by people around them. So how important is that factor while dealing with such family issues?
That is why I said that the judges handling family case should be imaginative, talented, skillful, and they have got a sense of counseling and sense of understanding the problems in the society. So then only when somebody is saying falsely something, then the judge should be able to know that he or he is presenting the case in a wrong way or not truthfully. He should be able to understand it. So even if when parties go to the court, they make very imaginative stories. Sometimes may not be true.
So do we have provisions for polygraphs and other those kind of technologies today for family issues?
No. We generally don't use such scientific techniques to find out the truth. It's not a police case. It's not a criminal case. It is a social issue. So we don't to find out the truth.
It can become a police case. People under 498A, all these are domestic violence issues.
498 is a POSCO. 498 offense committed by against the juveniles. They are all the criminal cases. There are all types of investigative methods can be used. No doubt, no problem.
So finally, sir, what would you be suggesting to the society at large in India when it comes to settlement of property also? Suppose there are three parties, two parties agree upon settlement, but the third party causes a disruption in the settlement process. So what is the way out?
Court can pass orders, appropriate orders can be passed by the court. Court's order is binding on all parties. The court is not incapacitated. So court can pass appropriate orders if the disputes are relating to property. So when the matrimonial disputes also, the sharing of these reason property also can be court can pass appropriate orders, no doubt with that. So that is not a problem. But the problem, societal problem, is a large number of matrimonial issues are now the courts are flooded with this type of litigation, and I feel that the religious leaders, influential members of the society, the proper counseling, all this should be given so that we shall not let our families to go to the litigation side. Litigation is a thing which we should avoid. All people should, though we praise courts, judges and all, but litigation is something, the people, it is a necessary evil in this society. Courts are necessary evil. We can't, it's an evil thing, the litigation, but because of the necessity, we are happy. But family matters should be settled, and we can imaginatively we can find various forums. All these groups can have a settlement in them. There are so many. Even political parties can also think of having a group to settle the disputes. They are their own mechanism.
In case of family matters, a very common, very layman question. In case of family matters, internal family issues between husband, wife, between father, son, whatever, are outsiders allowed to have a say? Can they poke their nose? Can they poke their nose?
They cannot poke nose in the things, but sometimes they are examined as witnesses. Suppose in the nature, depending upon the nature of allegations, they can be examined as witnesses. That's all. That too, very rare. Of course, in some matters, sexual abuse and all these witnesses, sometimes they are also made parties. Suppose the husband is alleging that the wife has got an affair. Sometimes he is made party also in the litigation. That such occasions also have arisen.
So closing remarks from you, sir.
So I feel that this is an important the litigation where the court should make, all high courts should make special attention and see that the family disputes are settled with the best of their matters. That will, in cases, in courts where there are large pendency, they should establish more and more courts as family courts. And the very purpose we intended to have while introducing the Family Courts Act should be achieved, and the High Court, there should be a separate judge also can be held responsible for the various, a senior lady judge can be appointed as the judge in charge of the family courts, so that she can monitor the progress and give timely advice to the district judges who are holding the post of family courts. That also can be various. We have to introduce various forms of the new methods by which to solve the societal problems. We cannot always, courts are generally conservative, but nowadays we shall not be conservative. We should endeavor to find new methods so that we can solve the problems to the best of our ability. That is only what we can say. The various religious leaders, the other influential members of the society also prevent the persons from going to the court to have the litigation in a very complicated situation. Nip the controversy in the bud stage itself. So that is only I can say. Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me to talk this forum.
Sir, thank you so much. I have few more, but then we will do that some other time. Today, I promised in half an hour we'll close. Sir, thank you so much as always. Namaskar. I look forward to meeting you again, sir.